Crew cut said it'd be like 15 minutes.
I mean,
Oh, we live. Go ahead, man.
that's how it used to be. He used to call in late anyway.
Let this populate a little bit.
So it went in straight in. All right, no countdown.
No. Go ahead and do your thing. Go ahead and do what you normally do. Just put that in the background so we can do what we got to do.
Oh,
We're on a little early, and then most people think anyway.
okay, no doubt. Let me hit these shit quick. Where you keep the
Wait, do it.
busy.
Go ahead. We're on a little early, and then most people.
All right. Probably a lot of people trying to get on today.
We're just trying to get on. Hey, let's build. Let's build. I want to hear all kind of perspectives on ideas of what people think.
All right. Tell me, keep talking to me. Let me get this done here. We
Yeah. Yes. Yo, what's going on, y'all? What's
yeah,
going
look
on?
that back. Look that back. What's up?
Look that back. All right, my bad.
Yeah, yeah. Might have to drop a few bars on that.
Mm,
So you, so how you doing, brother?
good. I'm good. I'm good, man. Just like I said, man, it's just been a very emotional morning for me. Um, I had a very
Right.
close relative that passed away this morning. Peace out to rest in peace, Oscar. I wasn't ready for it. He died of cancer. He is a veteran.
Okay.
Um, you know, um, but yeah, man, it's ooh. But the way I deal with stuff is what we doing now. So it just helps me cope with some stuff. But other than that,
Right.
man, it's been an interesting week. Interesting things going on, especially on my end.
Right.
But yeah, it's been kind of crazy, man. But other than that, man, we had a little tornado situation happen here in my neighborhood, so
Oh
we
my.
had to hide out last night.
Wow.
I mean, when it went crazy, it was like when you get alert on your TV, you
Yeah.
know. Then I look outside and I'm like, holy crap! Well, this shit is looking. I mean, it was one side of the house was pitch black dark, the other side had the sun, so it was. We seen it started to form, but other than that, man, we good. We good. Everything is good. We just
Wow.
gonna keep pushing.
Well, I'm glad you
Life
say
goes on.
it, brother.
But other than that,
Glad you
man,
say it.
yeah. But this topic,
All right.
I want.
So
Oh, go ahead.
we go ahead and get it. Let me go and jump in that in. Let me
Go ahead,
welcome
man. Go
everybody.
ahead.
Let me welcome everybody to the show. Um, I want to thank all our Facebook family. I want to thank all the YouTube family that's joined. If you're on YouTube, please like, share, hit the notification button so that we know you're here. Drop a comment. Um, let's engage a little bit. As always, don't believe anything that you hear. Don't believe anything that we tell you. Whatever you hear, whatever we tell you, go research for yourself. Find out for yourself. Once you find your truth, come back. Then let's sit down, let's politic, let's talk about it. Um, what's up, B? Well, B is muted at the time. But there he is.
Oh,
What's up,
I'm
B?
back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm just getting phone calls. I'm just getting phone calls because
Hey,
a lot of people just not
uh,
finding out. But yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Peace out to the family. Peace out to the people that's listening. I want to build today, man. I want to really see people's perspective
come up.
on this on this particular topic that I posted. Um, what did we give up as a people? When I mean as a people, I'm talking about indigenous Americans. I'm talking about black Indians. I'm talking about people that was here before Columbus. I'm talking about the people that brought in the
Right,
people from the Mayfair, the people who allowed the Pilgrims to come in, who allowed the Company of Virginia to come in. Um, People who
right.
basically built this government, who built this, who basically a lot of the structure that you see, it's been buried and built on top of it. So the people who built America, the people who built this United States. Uh, I want to know, what did we give up, because it's so much that we was told history wise, so much, a lot of lies been told, and I mean we finding it out, and and we trying to put it out there.
Of
A lot of people don't want to
course.
hear. A lot of people don't want to believe it
That's
because
why we had
the
this show.
indoctrination, the indoctrination that we have been put through. That Malcolm X even he was telling us, even Martin Luther King event, was trying to tell us that there's a lot of stuff that this government has kept from us. And we had a civil war, and most people don't even understand what some of the main benefits or some of the stuff that happened during the civil war, because it wasn't like what we think it
Right.
happened. So I just wanted to find out, because I was happened to be talking to Jerome, because my mind, Jerome could tell you I have like 50 different topics, and I'm just want to touch on this, touch on that. Um, didn't want to do current events of what all the BS is going on today, because we watching two different fashions fight against one another. That has nothing to do with us, but it's been going on. But it just happened to be, it's basically watching in-laws fight, for something that's
Ain't my
not even
parents.
theirs. So the question, I just wanted to see what we can do, and I wanted to get your point of view of what did we give up as a people.
Yeah. Put that bottom.
I need to post that.
Can we put that across the bottom, B?
All right, all right, all right.
Yeah.
Got you. Oh, you want that banner? You want that banner?
Just so they
All right,
read and while we talk. That background,
all right. But go ahead, go ahead. I want you. What did you think we gave up, or
definitely.
what did we, and or break it down? Do you understand what I'm saying? What did we join, and what did we lose to
Yeah.
be part? All right, all right, got it. Go ahead. I'm gonna write this down.
Okay. Yeah. I understand what you're saying. What you say?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Bill. Let's
Okay.
Bill.
I definitely understand what you're saying. I think when you say what have we lost, and you look at it in the whole scheme of things, we've lost everything. Um, we lost the ability to build, like you say, build as we want. I think we lost the ability to understand what, you know. I don't. I always say this. Um, you can stop 10 people that look like us. You can ask them, do we have a problem, with America and da da da. And they're going to tell you 10 out of 10, they have a problem, right? But when I ask you to articulate the problem, tell me exactly what's wrong, tell me exactly how we fix it, one out of 10 will even attempt to give you that answer. You know, it's not just to know that you have a problem, to know something's been taken, but you have to know exactly what it is. It's like if you call the police to your house and you say, "Hey man, somebody broke in my house and they stole something. What they steal? I don't know. I know they got something." You know, it's hard to get back what's yours when you don't know how to exactly tell people what it is that they actually took. And so, if you don't know your history as a indigenous person, how do you tell people they stole your land? If you're not an indigenous person, how do you tell people that they ran you out of your cities? If you're not an indigenous person, how do you tell that they buried so much of your history under lakes? They buried so much under dams, that they buried your history just through burning. You know, how do you say what you've lost? That's why the education of self is so important. But
Oh, you finished? My bad.
answer
I thought you was still rolling, dude. I was about to. I thought you was about to do a seminar, man. You know how you get.
nah, go
Yeah,
ahead,
what's
bro.
going
Go
on,
ahead.
Eric? Yeah, what's going on, Marvin? What's going on? My man Carbon King. What's up, Jeremy? Um, yeah, what's up, Eric? What's up, Mister? Eric Star. Yeah, it was kind of funny. It was
What's
like
up?
they fighting over shit they
Got brother
stole.
Leon on here. What's up, brother Leon?
Okay, okay, that's what's up. But yeah, because we kind of touched on it last week, and I hope everybody go back and check out because for some reason we went from doing an hour to 2 hours, sometimes to 2.5 hours shows because I think this Sunday brunch is really the conversation can get deeper because we don't have no constraints. You know, some people got constraints on Sunday morning, we don't. Uh, but let's get into it because my thing is we gave up our land, we gave up our culture. Um,
Right,
because of wanting to because we have to look at it in a sense of what history has shown us. The Pilgrims came, the Virginia Company came in 1608. Is it 1608?
right,
Yeah. I mean, I'm just telling you what we was taught. Then we have the
right. Go ahead.
1619 of the first slaves, African slaves, to come here on a boat that they actually wasn't brought here. It was actually a ship that was just happened to be abandoned and had African people on it um, that we know of. We don't know. We just going. So they was considered
Now I'm about to say
those
that's the
25.
story.
Yeah. No, I mean
That's the
I'm only
story.
going with the
Go ahead.
story. I'm just going with the story.
Go,
Um,
go ahead.
the Pilgrims came here. Was it 1617 when they came to Plymouth Rock? Around that time frame, some shit like that. Um,
Somewhere like I don't know.
I'm only giving you history that I was taught in school. Don't forget, I'm from South Carolina.
Go ahead.
Education
Go
is
ahead.
not
Go
that
ahead. Go
big.
ahead.
All right, so and then next thing you know, and then through all that, we don't hear nothing until 1776, and it's like, what the hell happened? 1776, all the 13 colonies joined, and we did the Declaration of Independence. And then next thing you know, we don't hear nothing. So these are the gaps. These gaps is big. These gaps is major. So we went from 1608, 1609 to 1776 before we hear anything. And the next thing you know, we hear, the the Constitution of the United States, which is
Well,
fuck. Oh,
yeah,
wait a minute, wait a minute, my bad.
actually,
With the
actually, it's a lot
Constitution,
more.
seventeen
It's a
seventy
lot
six.
more gaps than that. No, no, you good.
I mean, I'm again,
Declaration of
I'm only giving you
Independence.
the history that I remember. The Declaration of Independence, 1776, and then we hear,
Oh no,
you
no, you
know,
good. Look,
Washington becomes president 1789. So this is gaps. It's mad gaps. But they don't tell you, they don't want to tell you what's in them
I mean,
gaps.
it's a lot of gaps, but you got to look at. Really, you got to go back to for them. How they started 1492, 1492, like
Oh, we going back to that one.
1498. So, what I'm saying, you talking about the process of America, right? And so you got this
Yeah, okay.
big gap in between the 1500s to the 1600s. You know, why did it take England 100 years? You know, to that that's one of the what? So if we know Europeans were coming in the late 1400s, definitely through the 1500s, how is it that England didn't make it over? But then when they came over, company, so didn't send people, you sent the company.
Hmm.
So what was during that time frame? What was the planning? What was the construction? What was the thought for England that you would allow Portugal and Spain to get 100-year head start on you when everybody is after resources, everybody is after um, this momentum to rebuild Europe.
Yeah, Europe was a piece of shit then. You're not gonna leave your home unless you're looking for something
Sorry,
else.
look, yeah,
My bad. We messing up on audio.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You you're not gonna leave home unless you want to know something more. Um, but then I mean, wait a minute, Jerome. If you're going with 1492, dude, we got to go even deeper.
Well,
That's what I'm saying. Because it's kind of like what made Europe want to
that's what I'm saying. What
expand.
I'm saying when
What?
right
It's kind of
there,
like a
when you
revenge
talk about
thing.
the process of America,
Yeah, 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 yeah. I know what you're saying, but it's kind of like, was it revenge? Because if you've been controlled for so long, and all of a sudden now you was like, no, fuck that, we got to get
I
back.
mean,
We got to get them back. Let me go take over what they had, or in the sense of what we
right,
thinking these are the same people
and
because
it's
of.
right.
Go
But
ahead.
I think you say I got to give them back, right? Then what you're doing is you're taking and you're comparing the North Africans or these wars or more people that control Europe and comparing them to the people that were here in the United States. I'm not saying they're the same system, right? They did come to the Americas, and when I say come to the Americas, I'm talking about something other than trade. Talking about settlement, talking about probably removing themselves from Europe, because Europe at that time, if you take, I don't, if you take from the fall of the Roman Empire till the rise of what you would call the British Empire, that time in between there, Europe had went through a lot of this. Like um, they have a lot of resources. Then during the 1300s, you had the Black Plague, which killed out almost a third, if not more, of their population. Um, so you're talking about a rebuild that they were going through, and they fell into the promised land, if you will, when they came to the Americas, and
The land of
so
milk and honey.
it was flowing with milk and honey over here. So So they took that, and of course, like I said, and our brother Eric has pointed out a lot of things. Well, it's the Gully Wars. There was a lot of war. When you conquer, it takes force. Um, I don't think any land has ever been conquered by peace. So there's always war. There's always war. Excuse me. Excuse me. There's always war.
Question. Got a question for you, Rome. Oh shit, Rome just jumped off. The question that I have is, oh my bad, let me take that off. Hmm. Most wars are really started because of religion. Most wars are started with religion. We have all the crusades, which is religious wars. We have because of the Pope,
Right.
for you to come over and say slaves are okay, slavery was okay. You have for them to come over here and preach or bring us religion saying this is what God is telling us, but then you turn around and you're killing everybody that you say God told you, this and this. And it's more of a sense of we're under this new, I mean, the empire of the Roman Empire, I feel like it died, but then it came back to life under a Catholic banner. And then we can really go into the big holy, oh, this is what? This is part of the Passover today, right? Passover started today? Of the religious Passover because Easter is next weekend. But yeah, whatever with that. But then you come and you start to see some stuff and you're trying to understand. But as I was going through it, then I'm like, then we have the Civil War.
I think.
Because I mean, like again, we President
Oh,
what's the name? George Washington become the first president, and
so
we
what was
got
your question, B?
no, because I mean, no, I was going down it because then we hear the Civil War, and then next thing you know, we have the 13th Amendment. 13th Amendment is
I
so
got you.
important that a
So,
lot of people don't pay attention. A lot of people don't understand it. I feel like that was the nail in the coffin for us as a people was the 13th Amendment because we gave them all our power.
so
Go
your
ahead.
your original question was no. Your original question was um, religion is the start of wars.
Yes, my bad. That is the question I had.
Is that your
No,
question?
but if you look at it,
Oh,
most wars
yeah.
it has to be religious based.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, I, I I'm with you on that. I think it's more ideology. You have to have a
Eh,
ideology to oppress upon the people to get them to follow you into war. When you know that most of the people are ignorant, don't read, uh, and just follow, then religion is the banner that you're going to put over the war. You're going to say these people over here, they don't believe in the same God as you. They want to take you out because they don't believe in God. They have a different God, right? And so the ignorant people will follow because they're protecting God's name or they're protecting their religion. They're not seeing at the top that you use pawns just to take a land, um, just to take a space, just to take a resource. They don't see it from the resource land perspective. They see it from, oh, they disrespected our God, the one who keeps me, even though he keeps me in poverty, even though he keeps me in ignorance, even even though he keeps me without, I'm still gonna fight for that name. So they, the rich, use religion to move the poor. Because if it wasn't for religion, think about it. The poor would kill the rich and take what they had. but it's God that keep them safe. I mean, that's not missed upon the elite. They understand this.
Mm. See what Eric put down. It's greed. Some people struggle in Africa this day. They want all of them, but they don't need to collect the profits. True. Actually, it's kind of funny though because the new empire now is China. China getting ready to take over Africa.
Is it?
Maybe that's the reason why
Is it?
everybody's wanting to jump in and let's get into Africa. Let's get into Africa because you kind of like already. I think we are seeing now. But let's get back to the original question because we'll go off. Let's hit this main topic of this question that I got posted is what I feel like what me giving up the land, giving up our language, giving up because I think we have when I the timeline I put out there is all these is wars going on. You keep thinking people are just it's just a peaceful, I let you in my country, everything is good. I don't see you going into any country by force and they just gonna look at you and say, yeah, I'm gonna let you be a part of this. No, it's fights, it's tons of wars that's going on. And you have the whole entire European jumping on. You have your French, you have your Spanish, you have your British, you got your Portuguese. Then everybody wanted a piece of this American pie. So it's basically continent versus continent. We lost everything, and we're just now starting to find out what we are as a person. As a person, Xavier. I'm sorry. As a person to realize was I'm sorry, y'all.
You good? Go ahead. You good? I think.
To
I think too.
go ahead.
When
Go
you're
ahead.
talking about, I think too. Not to lose perspective, but Europe came together as a unit, had a plan, and they executed their plan, right? But here in what we call the Americas, I think because we were so set and have been doing what we're doing for so many thousands of years, tens of thousands of years, 100,000 years, we didn't understand the subtleness of how they took over. You know, like I said, we went to wars, but that was individual factions fighting. We didn't collectively. If we collectively done it, I think we would have thwarted anything that they would have tried to bring the Americas. But but I digress. What we're talking about is what lose, of course. Obviously, we lost land, but we lost the ability to govern ourselves. That in itself is probably one of the biggest things for me. Losing the ability to govern yourself. You have others governing you that don't have your interests and don't have your interests in mind, don't have your interests at heart, and don't really care. For me, that's probably one of the biggest things that because we're not self-governed. You can jump in.
So that means at one point in time we were because everything was flowing here. Yes, we have our family fights, but yes, we were self-governed. So in other words, we created a government that went from east to west, and then they turn around from west, try to send it back to us in east in a in their type of format. Because if you go back and you look at history, it is all of a sudden they just came up with this democracy, but you see it nowhere else. So they had to learn it from somebody. They saw us. They watched us how we did our
I
things.
mean,
They watched how the
right.
tribal leaders
Let,
was running things. But go ahead.
no, no,
Go
no, no,
ahead.
no. You touched on when you said their structure of government, right? They don't have a structure of government. I don't think they ever had a structure. And the reason why I say that, if you go in their history and you go back as far as Greece, right? So Greece and how it maintained itself, Greece was not a European civilization. It was on the Mediterranean, all around what they call around the Horn, North Africa. All these civilizations were the same people. They traded with each other, selling across the Mediterranean. So it wasn't until later that they could um, commingle with the barbarians, if you will, that from the north. That civilization began to change, and so as and you can look all through history that even with Rome, and you talk about the Roman Empire, those were the Etruscans. Those were darker skinned people. It wasn't until the barbarians came in and they mixed with the Etruscans and ended them and took everything that they had that they started calling it a Roman Empire. Then, like I said, they lived as the Etruscans did, right? Then they wiped out again by what? More barbarians, by the Gaul people or these people out of the north or the Germanic. So they even kill out themselves, So to say that they had organized civilization would be a stretch. To say that they always take over something that's always already built would be a more accurate statement. So, and I don't know if B trouble there is,
No,
but
I ain't
that
got
would be
no
a
troubles.
more
It's
statement.
I'm
Say
firing
no
off. I'm
more.
just
Say no more.
doing what that. But I mean that. But that's what I'm saying. Is more of, are we learning ourselves by watching our government, and you just starting to see like these dudes will fuck up everything they touch. But let me get off because I'm gonna get the bashing and I don't want to bash. But then at the same time, if all this land, all these, think about everything from what we learned. We have all these
Right.
different animals roaming the United States because again, and then we hear them coming. They go to the west because now we have to understand a lot about the Revolutionary War. I forgot about that because they wanted to go west of
Okay.
the Appalachian Mountains. They wanted to keep moving. We want more. We want more. And then you turn around and you kill off everything for sport. You kill. You just you
Right.
come and you kill. And then next thing you know, we hear, you know, you just hear
There's a
nothing positive. But go ahead.
no. I
Because we
want to
gave
add
up.
with what you're
No,
saying while you're talking. There's a
go ahead.
good book that you could go out and look. It's called The Iceman's Inheritance. Uh, just check that book. You'll understand a lot of the behavior that's behind what you see today. But go ahead.
But then I mean, then we hear about the Trail of Tears. But you don't hear him talk a lot about the Trail of Tears. And this is where, when I say we give up our land, because we fight and we fight. You have to understand when these corporations came in, if we ain't used to you, we ain't used to your culture, we ain't used to your food, we ain't used to anything you do. You bring us quilts, you bring us blankets, you have stuff, they saying that it was Black Plague, it was, still had this DNA or whatever you want to call it, and we lose a third of our people on the coastline because of disease, because of we not used to what you bring, we're not used to you. Now we have to, because it's like if you, what is it, South America? I mean, it's groups in South America that hasn't been colonized at all. But the minute they came in contact with just me or you, whatever our body immune to, their body is not immune to it because their body hasn't been exposed to it yet. And we'll literally kill them people off just because of what we as a people today have done. So now we have to look at it. A lot of our elders, a lot of our chiefs, a lot of them died by the hands of this disease alone. And then next thing you know, you can talk to young people and you can get them to, all you got to do is tell somebody, yo, I can make you this, I can give you this, I can give you this. All you got to do is do X, Y, Z. And then you have a lot of infighting within our tribes because of the influence of the West and what the Europeans was coming to do. And then you have this fighting, and you have, well, I mean, we have showed that a lot of the land was given under the nose. I mean, think Pennsylvania alone was given by somebody who wasn't even in charge of the land, gave this land or signed this land over to William Penn. I mean, again,
Right.
Pennsylvania is under the William Penn's family. That's why it's Pennsylvania. But then we I think we found that out by when we was doing the Indian scalping episode, that we showed that a lot of the
Right.
land was given to people on false pretense. So when the tribal leaders found out, it was like, yo, why you on my land?
Right.
They was like, wait a minute, we was given this land. By whom? You see what I'm saying? So you see tribes
Exactly.
fight against each other. You see, we go into war over BS just because of
I
we
think
don't want
too.
to fight these people. We don't want to bang with these people, so we'll join these people to bang with you. Am I saying
I
that right?
think
Do you understand what I'm saying?
for
Go
me,
ahead.
I look at it like this. I know exactly what you're saying, but I think when we say tribal, right,
Hmm.
and these territorial people, that we don't, we get a misconception of because what we thought of as people in tribes. We had established cities, right? So anytime that you have an established city, right, you you have a I want to say this right. You get a little softer because of the protections of the city, right? You don't you don't you don't carry yourself in war. If you were living out on the plains and danger is all around you, you have no walls to protect you. You live different than somebody that lives in the city and you have protection of walls, you have protections of buildings. So they ran different types of people. Let's say it like that. And when you were talking about like blanket filled with black plague, I personally I believe that story because I didn't think they had the intelligence enough to do chemical
I
warfare.
don't think it was
I
intentional.
didn't
I
think
just
they
think
had
it
the.
just
I didn't.
happened.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I
Okay.
I mean, but it's something intentional. No, I doubt they had that type of intelligence. But the immunity, I do agree because you got to look at just as short as the 1300s. They did at the Black Plague in Europe. So there should have been even that 200-year span. There should have been variants of that plague still in Europe, and so to
Yeah,
for
they thought
them
the
to come
coronavirus
to
was
the
like the plague.
Americas. Right. So, and the bubonic plague or the bubonic plague at that time, the Black Death was taking out everybody. So I'm sure there were still variants, and these variants were brought to the Americas, and I'm sure it was a depopulation that happened. But
Well,
I
I
just
mean, you can just
I
think
just
about
don't
it.
think they had
European culture
the
alone
kind of
would be a problem. If we study and we see,
yeah.
if we
I
look a
mean, it's a
certain
problem.
way,
It's a problem now. Look at the government.
I mean, it's
There's
always going to be
certain
a
things
problem.
that uh, yeah, that's allowed as a people that we don't look at the grand scheme of how it affects the whole, right? We just look
Hmm.
at It's so much on individual that we don't understand how it affects the whole.
True.
And we
True.
were always a people that looked from holistic perspective. We always looked at it, how would the tribe, how would the community be affected? you know. But if you listen now, it's so European. It's all about self. My individual feelings, my individual uh, right to, and I get, you know, but there is the family to consider more so than self.
Yeah, you got rid of the family. You found a way to get rid of you break up the family. Um, Eric just pointed out something that was, I feel like, was the game changer of the world. And it was this whole doctrine of discovery. Doctrine of discovery. Hmm. People need to go back and research that,
Yeah, we did a
because
show
if
on
you
that.
go, it'll explain basically what we're dealing with today. Because for some reason we're still in this mindset of, if I step foot on here, so in basically, in other words, Europe felt like anywhere they go, it was theirs because they discovered it. It's kind of hard when you discover something. That's why this whole Christopher Columbus bullshit is bullshit. You can't discover something that was never lost. Now I can understand it was lost and you just happened to find it and it was unoccupied. Yeah, you can say you found it, but you didn't do
Nah,
that.
bro, it was never lost. They were
That's what
trading.
I
They
mean.
were
That's what I
trading in the
mean.
new world. So how was it lost? You know,
But if you spin it,
it's just
people will
that you
believe it.
wanted to take over. Over here, there's
So,
milk and honey. We want that land.
and you found a way to do it. So now we have land, whatever spiritual religion or spirituality that we was dealing with. Because it's funny when we try to do what we want to do in a spiritual sense, um, it's looked at in a bad eye because of religion. Um, I'm trying to find out the other word they use it. It's condemned in the religious community. Spirituality is what we do because we respect everything. We respect the land. We respect the animals. We only take what we need versus savage everything that we see. Um, the land portion is what I feel as a people we gave up to be part of something that has destroyed the world. And then when I say the world, because
Right.
who has the biggest what? So you trying to tell me the United States Navy was that strong out of nothing, just out of nothing? All of a sudden we have an army. Now we have an air force. Now we have a Marines. You have a Coast Guard for a reason. Because think about it, ain't no other country has a Coast Guard. It's out there just protecting their land. So we build a fortress, a military fortress around this country. If you come in here, we you got problems. So in other words, you're trying to protect what's here because you know what you did. You stole. You don't want nobody else to come get it. Now we to the fact is, we turn into a mercenary group because we go into every other country thinking that we can do the same thing that we did here. That's why South America watches foot by foot because they want to, we're the blueprint that they try to follow. See what I'm saying? So it's interesting
They
because
won't.
of what
They won't. See, listen.
I'm listening.
Is when you become the bully, right? When you become the bully, you want to make sure everybody around you is weaker. So
Hmm.
they go into every country to limit their military strength. Why do you think they always have nuclear programs? The UN is going to come in and check, see about your nuclear reactors, da 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 da. But they want to make sure that everybody that else in the world doesn't have the power that they have. That's why China, that's why Russia do what they do because they will not allow the US to come. They're not a part of the UN, so you can't use that UN stuff. So if you can't come in and regulate how much power we have, then you don't control us. Everybody else, we don't have allies. We have people that we control.
Or just
There's
fear us
there's no
because
such
of our
thing as an
power.
ally for the United States because it's all about power. You know, why do you think we? Why would I tell you don't worry about it? We'll fight for you instead of giving you a gun. That's control.
I don't know. It's kind of fun that we tried that with Ukraine, and it was like, all right, fuck, we got to come help y'all. Y'all don't know how to do shit right. But back to, but then,
That's
and that's what it is. We
but you
gave
gotta
up
look.
our
That was a Russian territory. That wasn't our territory. That was a Russian territory.
that they just happened to lose when the Soviet Union split. People need to go back and study their 90s. Go back in the 90s and find out Ukraine was Russia at one point. Russia was huge. Russia was huge, but
Well, the
then
Soviet Union,
the Soviet Union broke apart, and then
Soviet
next thing you
Union, they
know,
were a unit.
they was like the United States.
Yeah,
But that's a
that's
whole
what they
different
were.
ballgame. They were. So now we're learning who we are as a people. Some, not all, because we can't come to an agreement of who we are as a people. We saw that we had the power. You don't fight people who don't have power. You just take it. They didn't take it.
Right.
They didn't take this land like you think everybody think they just came in and take. Like they came in here with a bunch of things off of a damn wooden boat and came here. No, they slowly, strategically. Once you know a person, you find their weaknesses. They found out our weaknesses and they exposed it, and they did it for 100 years. They did it. Let's see. Let's say 1690. Yeah, so about 150 years. They just came out of nowhere, and they felt like, yeah, we can take this shit. We can take it. And then next thing you know, all of a sudden, France owns the whole Midwest. The Spanish owned the whole West Coast. In the English, the British felt like they owned the whole East Coast. And it's like, how y'all come in here and y'all split this up? How the hell y'all come here and y'all split this up? And then all of a sudden we hear about the Louisiana Purchase. You purchase something with what money? In other words, you purchase land from somebody else that stole our land. So it's just a lot of thievery going on around here, dude. We joined the system
There's a
that
whole
in
lot of
there.
things. When you talk about when you talk about the Louisiana Purchase, I don't know how much that is. I think it once the Haitians put that whooping on France, uh, France couldn't hold. What could they hold? The United States saw that. They saw y'all get whooped. So we're gonna take this land. We'll give you a little change in there, and then it was when once France had to bow down. Spain knew they didn't have no power, so Spain just gave up the rest of their stuff. Everything's about power and perception. It wasn't. It wasn't French land. It wasn't Spanish land. It wasn't Portuguese land anyway. Those were all claims. And so you have the power to back up no claim. You got to raise up. And you already had people that were fighting on those lands for their land.
And then we see it again in the early 20s when they went and burned down our cities because our land has resources that they don't have. But nobody
Of
pays no
course.
attention to it. Nobody pays attention to nothing. I mean, you got to understand that they playing they playing checkers in front of us. We just don't know. We just ain't as a people learn how to play chess to understand strategically what has happened to us as a people. We own all this shit.
Well, I think Shit. I think it's just more or less we don't have a power structure that thinks. You know what I'm saying? I think we got the power to do it. We can take back anything we want, but we don't have the central brain. You know what I'm saying? And the central brain doesn't have to be like one guiding force, but the central brain has to be like groups of people have the similar objective coming together. Excuse me. Go ahead, B.
No, 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 no. If you make it a sense, if we, all right, I remember I graduated in '93. I only had one semester of home, economics or understanding government and economics. A semester, a half a semester. That's like 3 weeks of learning what really, really happens. So now we got to understand in the aspect of this is we got to understand, or we need to learn governing or understanding what did they take from our governments back then and use it to what we have today. In other words, they don't want us in politics. This is a reason why they don't want us in the government because the government hides so much. The Smithsonian has so many secrets. Um, and we start understanding what we do. So now we got people who was petitioning, yo, my tribe used to own this land, can we want our land back? We starting to see stuff like that happen, but we still under the notion that we came from Africa. So if I got you thinking you came from Africa, that means you have no ties to this land. Why would you believe that you got any ties to a land that you came from another continent? You see what I'm saying? But if you have ties to this land,
Right.
that's a game changer. That's a whole different game changer because now you can go back and look at treaties
Well,
that
first,
was been broken, that's been
right,
established, that has been
right,
broken. Because if I get rid of everybody that knows about this treaty, well, this treaty never existed. I can hide the paperwork. So that's what I'm saying. We gave up everything to be part of a system that we still enslaved to. We're still
solid
enslaved under.
words.
But go ahead, man.
It's always in the it's always in the paperwork. You know, they always tell you the devil is in the details, right? So if you understand who you are, where you're from, then you can understand what treaties were set forth with your people, and you can reestablish those things. Because now you're talking about the government itself. You know, you say they hide things. Well, I mean, anybody that's in power doesn't want to let you know everything that's going on. You know, that's total transparency in any government. It's just like being a parent. You don't tell your kids everything. Um, so, but representation is what we fail to have. You know, we vote for people that don't have our same interests, which makes no sense. You know, why are we voting for people that don't have the same interests? You know, so if you want to do something, and Brother Eric talks about it starts in our neighborhoods, it absolutely does. You know, you got to start with a local um, base of education, a local base of government, and let it move outwards. You know, so we can't do it from a large perspective. It's got to be from a smaller perspective. You know, that if it's more grassroots, then everybody understands it. You know, so
It's
that's
kind of
how I'm
funny.
looking at it.
It's kind of funny because everybody expected Obama to make these huge changes. They expected this one man to come in. No, I mean he probably could did more. Who cares? Who knows? We don't know because we're not in that position of understanding everything that's under us. And what loopholes and what is tied down. So sometimes you get put into being the CEO of a company. You don't know every damn thing that goes on in that company. You just the face. So when anything goes bad in that company, it's on you. So what are you trying to do? I'm trying to do everything I can to keep this particular corporation afloat. And that's what your president is here for. We just had a, we just found out, when you get a bad CEO, shit unravels and sorry, secrets are coming out now. So now we starting to see the weakness in our government. Because again, like I said, you got two in-laws fighting each other over something that they don't even own. But who do they need? They need the landowners, the original landowners, to come in and just help me out, man. I got you. I got you. Just help me out. I'll take care of you.
but
But it ain't working.
but I think too, you spoke on Obama. So I will say this though, that's because we don't understand how government works, right? I'm talking about present day government. If you don't have a lobby, somebody that lobbies for you, if you don't have a political group that spends money, and you don't have anybody that's gonna speak for your issues, um, uh, staff people, they put together large campaigns gathering money for Obama. So when he got into
Mm.
office, whose agendas did he rectify? So we can say he didn't do anything, but it's because you didn't understand how to play the game. And because you don't understand how to play the game, that's why we don't get agendas taken care of. Um, Donald Trump was trying to tell you, he said, get your preachers together, come talk. What he was saying is, get you a party together that has your interests, put some money behind it, and I'll make sure it happens. But we get so caught up in who's driving the bus, who talking for us, that we don't understand the whole message he was trying to tell you. If y'all come together as a black group, I'll sit down with y'all and talk. And if y'all money right, we'll make sure it happens.
That's the key. That's the key. You gotta have money to get my ear, and not just what the government is. Period. So we
That's
we
the
complain
government,
about the
though. That's the government.
yeah. So we complain about the LGBTQ, the alphabet group. Why they got so much power? Why they got so much legislation? Why do they have so many rules that they could do it? And I'm like, because they put money involved. They came together as a group. Do they all get along? No. But they came together as a group under a banner. They must got a flag, they got a banner, and they was like, we just want to be heard. And what happened? Money gets involved. But then I also saw something else because now we understand that the money here controls everything. If you got money, people are heard. He can hear you. We see this with the orange dude. We see him raise $4 million in 2 weeks of your money to fight his battles, but he so-called millionaire, so-called billionaire. But I need your money. It's all about money. But we see him sit in front of have a bunch of black pastors in front signing legislation for what I don't know what the hell they was there for. And now we kind of we just got to understand who, because we'll put our money
Let me
into the
let me
church.
let me say this. Let me say
Go
this,
ahead.
B. Why you talking about Donald? I actually like Donald Trump.
Oh,
not
I ain't got nothing
not
against
from
him,
a
but he's
not from a
showing
political
you
sense, but yeah,
the hustle is
he's
real.
showing you what you need to do. Listen,
The hustle
when you
is
talk about
real.
you say he's raising all this money or they're raising money for him and he's a billionaire, right? What's the number one rule in business?
Never use your own money.
Never use your own money. So
Oh,
he just so he just dude, he just doing business on these people. They don't understand it. They think it's personal, but he just handling business on them. If you want something changed in the United States, you better get a political party of your own. You better get a lobbying system of your own that brings your issues to those people and have your money ready. If your money right, you will get changes. Now we talk about this uh, consumer money that we spend, that 1,500,000,000,000 da 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 whatever. If you put a quarter of that into a lobbying um, entity, you would be surprised how things change for indigenous Americans in the United States. But we don't have the sense enough to come together with the money. That's why they always teach you to turn on any video that you want to see that's got our likeness on there. What we doing with money? Wasting it, throwing it in the air, throwing it on somebody's butt, putting diamonds on my. But we can't come together to have a political party that changes for everyone, so everyone can succeed, so everyone, and I'm talking about us, can go forward. But we don't organize like that. We organize about when somebody got beat up, somebody got killed, somebody got shot. Things is gonna happen. This is a violent place, but we don't come
but you
together to
but you understand
change
that? Did you?
our
But you see that
situation
energy,
together.
that energy when we march, that energy of that fear, that energy that they turn into a law and state country. But that's it's a fear. When we come together, I mean, I wasn't for Black Lives Matter because it kind of like that organization. It was, you know, I understand I understand what they was trying to say, but it was more of when you start something, you got to understand a lot of other different people is going to jump in it, and it's going to go south real quick. So they got blamed for a lot of stuff. Be burning this down, burning that down. But then I'm like, hmm, interesting. Everybody got a mask on. You don't know who's doing what. We see everything get infiltrated. We
Yeah,
see
yeah.
it in the past. We see um, the Black Power movement in California. We see what happened in Chicago. We even see it in the Nation of Islam. We see it in Martin Luther King when he was doing his movement. Every movement get infiltrated and is torn apart because if you get black people moving forward, we are the most powerful
Yeah, but
group in the world. Well, go ahead.
let me jump something in there. When you see us moving forward with power and they infiltrate us, those are your grassroots, those neighborhood-based entities that grew into something, right? Because when you mention Black Lives Matter, um, we know who they show as the founders, but those are not the people that funded it. There was always somebody else behind it that had a different agenda that was pushing it, using Black Lives Matter as a mask, if you will. You
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
um, any of those organizations like that. The NAACP, the
Forgot
NAACP
about them.
wasn't even started by black people. It wasn't started by black people. They never had even a black president until the 1970s. So you're talking about
Mm.
something that was instituted in like what 1902, 1902, something like that, and it wasn't until 1970 before they had even a black president of the NAACP. I'm talking about organizational wise. Um, so so for I don't know, for me, like I said, it comes down to the basics. Yeah, we have to have a, a lobbying group at the least, or we have to have a black political party that's just for us and funded by us that gets our agendas and issues heard, not just heard, but um, actually taken care of. But it's all going to come down to the money. Um, you're looking for uh, your oppressors to have a change of heart, then
We doomed. We back to square one. And you're right. You're right. But then the point is, you have to understand what you lost to understand what you're fighting for. And I think that's where we at. We don't know what we lost. We don't. All we keep hearing about is slavery, slavery, slavery. That's it. So it's kind of like did we look where we came from since slavery. But no, it's like no, 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 no. They took our families, they took our land, they took our government, they took our language, they took our resources because nobody knew what we had until we started trading into other places. It's like kind of like we,
right.
it's kind of like we Wakanda, and then we turned around and we went outside of the bubble and showed everybody what we got. That's basically what it is.
That's a good analogy. That's a good
It
analogy.
ain't. It's not the Black Panther.
Um,
It's the whole Wakanda movement. And then when you think about it,
right.
look how much controversy that movie alone just brought out. When you have people coming together and everybody's under the same flag, under the same banner, it uplifted people. I
Hey,
got to show you a way to get rid of it. Think. I tell you this. Think about this. Think about this. You seen the Black? I'm just. This is funny, dude. The Black Panther movie come out. The next time we see anything about Wakanda is them coming here for our protection to protect them from the aliens when Thanos came. This is going back. I'm sorry, y'all. This is a movie with the first first time
go
we
ahead,
see
go ahead, go
Thanos
ahead.
and what they did.
I'm gonna rock with you on this. Go ahead.
You come to us for the help, the protection to save you from everything else. Kind of funny when you see the Europeans come over here to get away from the Europe that they don't want to be a part of. I'm telling you, that movie telling you some shit. You just ain't paying no attention. All right, the next Black Panther movie come out.
Listen,
My bad. Hold on. Wait a
yeah.
minute. So we got the next Black Panther movie come out.
Go ahead, go ahead,
All of a sudden, it's infiltrated
go
by the
ahead.
brown people. It's infiltrated by our kinfolk. We fighting within each other. So you got the black and brown fighting each other. But then at the end, they come together against everybody else. Nobody understand. They was like, we coming together to fight everybody else to protect what's ours. The two most powerful nations that nobody knew about. You see what I'm saying? Some interesting shit, ain't it? But go ahead.
Nah,
Go ahead, dude. Go
no,
ahead.
no, no. It's
I'm,
nah. You dead on it. You dead on it because that's where I was gonna go. I said, but
go ahead.
I'm gonna get more subtle with some of the moves
Go
in it.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The
Go
first
ahead on it. Go ahead
time
on
that
it.
the first time you see Black Panther, you see this hidden technology, this hidden uh, intelligence, this deep inside of us was finally revealed to the world. So it had everybody, everybody's all on that Wakanda movement. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's all charged up. So they bring a second one out, right? Now in the second movie, they show you getting destroyed.
Mm.
They showed you he was just a little too cocky. You know what I'm saying?
And they
I killed
flooded
the
your system.
man,
They flooded.
I killed the man of the family in the first movie. Now I killed the mother.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? And so we watching these movies, but they're subliminally showing you some things. We're killing out all the royalty. And those that are left with emotion. Those that are left, they don't think like a king. They don't even want to be kings. You know, they just live vicariously. We'll just live how it comes at us. No more structure. Now, the relationship that you got with the Browns that was fighting with you is tentative. You know, they with you because you beat them and you made them surrender. So that don't mean they with you with their heart. So you got you got these relationships still tentative. You see what I'm saying? And then I've already killed out the wisest man that was in Wakanda. So now I killed out the wisest woman. So I left
I
an
killed out your. I
intellectual
took your
child.
elders out the way. I killed your elders.
Right. But I exactly I killed the elders, but I left an intellectual child. But she still runs off emotion.
Mm. So
So
look at it now. Look in the sense of now. If you just go with that analogy alone, think about this. When they came to this country, I got to get rid of your
yeah,
elders, and I don't want to let the young folks run the show because I can
right.
talk to young folks. Think about when it comes to education. Think about it. Think about now. We go back and just think about it. Who do you attack first? To really run the people, you get rid of the elders, but now I have to teach the young ones. If I could teach the young ones to get the young ones to understand where I'm coming from, I can make this better for them by telling them something that they don't really know. The spookism of hearing something. Think about when you first time you heard Christianity. You heard the spookism in it, scared you enough that made you want to be a part of it. And then when you became a part
Right.
of it, you ran with it like a wildfire person, not understanding. Damn, they got another one. So it's kind of more of in a sense of if I get to your children and get your children on my side, you're they'll never overcome this. They'll never see it coming because they let us in. They let us in. So, like you said, they got rid of the father. The father didn't never let nobody come in. Gave it to the son. The son let one person in, and all of a sudden, all shit goes all to hell. But nobody pays no attention to it.
You see? I told you,
Nobody
gotta
pays no
see
attention
it.
to it. You gotta see it. You let that one
Gotta see
person
it,
in.
you know.
Even the daughter was like,
And then
"Why?"
so you take that and you bring it back to America. When you talk about
Mm-hmm.
what have our people given, right? We gave
Mm-hmm.
up Wakanda is what we gave
Mm-hmm.
up. Is because
Gave it up.
a lot of people don't look at it like this. If you go the history of Europe in the 1700s, right? When
Mm-hmm.
did what inventions did you see? What
Yeah, I
inventions did
still
you
don't see
see?
none to this damn
Any?
day.
None. You didn't hear about any inventions coming out, right? So, but in the Americas, where they already had these, for your reference, these black people, suddenly when the Europeans come over, now we have electricity, now we have cars, now we have cotton, now we have all these things invented, right?
Clothing.
Suddenly,
Mm-hmm.
then there was the Industrial Revolution. There was this technology burst that suddenly came out of nowhere. Not telling you that they came to the land of milk and honey and saw these things and how they operate and they stole it and called it their history.
Mm-hmm. I'm feeling you on that. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna take a little drink off that.
Off of one movie, it brings it all into fold. It brings it all into fold, but the point is, they put it in front
Yeah,
of you. You don't
of
pay no
course.
attention. They showed you what they did. I got to slowly get. If I can get one person in, and
Right.
think about it, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse because now you want everybody. It wants everybody to
Of
know your
course.
resources. This is what happened. You only took it because you got to understand the Vikings or the Northerners. I'm trying to think what we call those people. They already been to America. They was already here.
Yeah.
So it's been
Yeah.
trade that's been going on. Trade been going on for thousands of years. Once the Europeans found out, so it's like, okay, wait a minute, let's send somebody there. Then so now we have to understand, Columbus went because he knew what was there. It ain't no damn accident that he just fucking fell in there. He knew exactly. You don't take three ships and thinking that you just gonna fucking just go this way and found nothing. You knew exactly what you was doing strategically. But let me tell the
Of
history.
course.
And you don't come onto the you don't come back and say, hey, you come on here, where's the gold at? Where's the trinkets? Where's all this stuff? What are you wearing? Why are you wearing it like this? Because what we do, we treat this
Right.
as priceless stuff. So now we have to understand what the hell happened. And I feel like I see Marvel jumping in. The Moors have a lot to do with this shit, but a lot of people don't want to talk about them. They lose power in Europe, and what do they do? I'm gonna turn you over to
Don't
America.
uh,
You see what I'm saying? Let me show you. Let me show you what's over here. And the shit just got worse, and we still
like I
dealing with
said,
it.
let me say this before
Go ahead.
let me say this. Let me say this before you go forward.
No, no,
Because when we
I'm
talk
good. Go
about
ahead.
they teach you black history, right? They teach you
Yeah,
black
that
history for
bullshit.
February. See, here's the problem with that. Is that blackness or melanated or indigenous or however you want to call yourself, people have never been one monolithic people on this earth. We hadn't been one monolithic people on this earth. So there are people that look like us that did harm to us. There are people that look like us still doing harm to us.
Can't infiltrate
So
us unless you
don't
know.
get it confused when we talk about unity, that we think that we're creating this one black earth or this one monolithic earth of black people, because it ain't gonna happen. It didn't happen. If it hadn't happened in a million years, I doubt it's gonna happen in the next two.
All right, let me throw this in there to you. If we're African Americans, why is Africa not coming to our aid? Why Africa don't do anything to help?
Then
Africa
they come
rich.
in.
So again,
I said they would have came back then if they were taking millions and millions of people. Come on, you don't think they'd have fought just a little bit? Come on.
now the only country that I can say that have shown that they actually was like, yo, fuck this, we coming to help is Haiti. The Haitians. The
But
Haitians
they're
fought
on
in the
this
Civil
side
War.
though. They were already us.
Yeah. No, I mean,
They're
I'm just saying
already
is
us.
if
You
you
know what
want
I'm
to
saying?
see any other non-American, well, non-North American, what the hell we call North America, we see that, and we see them. All right, we're gonna
Well, let
keep
me
the British, we're gonna keep everybody in check over here, and we're gonna come over here and we're gonna help y'all out. Like you said, the Louisiana
get you.
Purchase happened for a reason. But go ahead.
Yeah. Let me say this though, B. Let me say this though, B.
Huh?
Because that's how we separate ourselves a lot too.
Mhm.
Anybody that's on the islands, I don't care
Yeah.
which island it was. You came from the mainland to get to the island. You wasn't born on the island as a origination spot. You had to come to the island. That's why it's an island. It's surrounded by water. It's cut off from everything. So that means you
That's why I call it
mainland
America.
to an island.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's kind of like a
But
planet with
but
what planet with
but
different moons around it. No, because we keep looking at it as I'm not bashing people in Africa because they got their own problems they got to deal with. You know, they
true
still
indeed.
deal with problems because you have, for one, the countries already split up within countries goes all the way back to what you say with the '60s. What was that last meeting they had? The when they all come together and
Talking
they
about
just
like the
keep.
Council of Nicaea.
Yes, yes. They still there was that the last one was in the '60s that we know of. that we know of.
Yeah,
We're going back to the
69,
60s
I think. Yeah, that we know of.
that we know of. So we already divided this country up
Right.
because we already divided the United. We already divided all these. We divided North America. Central America is kind of like, you know what? We still ain't fucking with y'all. But the Spanish said we got this. So the Spanish has the biggest part of America, of all the Americas. With I mean North America, Central America, and South America. We see that. Um,
Language. Yeah.
yeah, just because of the language, and then we see how they had Florida, they had the bottom, Alabama, Louisiana. We going all the way to California, all the way up to where this and this is. Now we can understanding language is a huge thing. Language is what they put in place so we would never connect as a people. Because black and brown people kind of we can, but we will never see ourselves as the same people because I don't speak Spanish, or I don't speak Portuguese, or I don't speak this language. You see what I'm saying? So language is a
Oh, I
big
do.
problem.
Hey,
Go
it
ahead.
is a
I know
barrier.
you want to jump in.
But no, no, no. Marvin, read what Marvin said. You agree
True.
with that? You agree with
Which
that?
part? The Haitians were conquered people just like us, the rest of us. True.
Yeah.
And they fought back. They were. They're about to get conquered again.
Okay.
They're about to get conquered again. You ain't been hearing?
You don't think they already conquered?
Oh yeah, that earthquake put them in a vulnerable state. Again, me knowing that that's part of I'm part of that family now. Yeah, yeah. All you got to do is get this. You get the young people to understand what your agenda is. You get rid of the elders. You get rid of the elders,
Right.
dude. You can take over any country. You can take over any country. We see that in Venezuela. We see that, once Castro died, what happened to the country? All of a sudden, shit started. All of a sudden, people rioting,
Right.
people fighting because they getting tired of the government. They getting tired of this one way government. I don't know where, but everybody see America and they think, oh my God, you got the best government in the world. People say, hey, we still under bondage. We still under slavery. I can't keep the money that
That's
I make.
because their government is trash.
European. We need to understand. I got to do more research on this too when it comes to the Arabs, because the Arabs they did start their slave trade before the transatlantic slave trade that we know of. It's interesting when we see this shit and we study more, we see more, we research more, we see everybody will be like, well, where you get this information from? What book did you get this from? And where did he get his sources from? When you see a black author do his research, he will put other sources of books in there that let you know where he get his sources from. And versus,
Of course.
I give you my theory, and that's it. Right now, I'm trying to teach my
Right.
boy about Darwin's theory, and Darwin's theory is, oh my God, that shit alone is the most dangerous theory that's out there now that people still stand on top of. Is Darwin's theory, not understanding the whole magnitude of why he put that in place to start the race wars that we're dealing with to today.
Well, I mean, people took his theory a little bit out of context. Like I said, it really
Yeah, I
wasn't his
know.
theory. It was his teachers. It was his teacher's concept. And he kind of took it from there. If you
And
read
tweaked it.
the Black Box, a book that he wrote, or anything that he talks about fitness, right? About fitness. That's where survival of the fittest comes from, right? Not those that had physical strength. It was about intellectual prowess. It was about those that had the ability to outthink the others. Um, and sometimes the weakest prey uh, can think a lot better than the strongest. That's how they continue to get away, right? But um, comment I've been so
I tell you what, boy. I tell you what. These boys
about
dropping comments.
uh, Arabs enslaved Arabs. You know, that's like 1,000 years prior to what we know as slavery here in the United States. Um, the thing is that it's still continuing. You know, it hasn't stopped for them. Um, but we don't. I don't know. It's like since it don't affect us, we don't care.
True that. True
That's how
that.
you
And then
know
Eric,
that we separate
then,
people.
then Eric posted this. Eric said, I have an idea to help start the fix. Yes, plumbers, farming is the number one thing that we don't do. And if we started, and then you notice that the fight when it comes to farming, us learning how to farm, you know, it's regulations for you. You can't even have a garden, and if you do, it's only can be so much. If you start to grow your own crops, but farming, look what they're doing to the black farmers. They taking their land. China is over here taking over
Right.
farmlands now. But yes, we need to go back to
Yeah.
trade. Hey, didn't you have vocational school when you grew up?
Yes.
And they took that shit away. They took it away.
Oh yeah. Quick.
And now what it is, for you to become
Quick.
something, I need you to, and this is no knock. And this is what I kind of, I tell people, I actually joined the Air Force for the learner trade because, they took that away from us. And I am what I am because I am an aircraft mechanic because of trade that I learned when I went into the Air Force. And everybody learns a trade when you go into the military because nobody teaches you trade no more. I'm getting into farming. I'm getting into growing stuff because I feel like that's power. Think about this, dude. These farmers grow so much. Think about the land they growing they shit on. It's our land anyway that was taken from us.
Right. Martin Luther King told
And
you that.
and they get money. And think about it to the day. Think about it. If they say they are, I mean, this is rumors. They was told to stop growing or destroy your crops. We give you money to do this. And then we depended on China to give us our trade, our grain, our this, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But now we hear the black farmers saying they doing us wrong. The government ain't trying to hear us. They taking our land. They trying to buy us out. They trying to destroy us.
True.
We still in the fight, man. We're still in the fight. Yo,
True.
hold up, brother. Wathrow done put this in there. You know what, Wathrow? I'm about to. You gonna make me go find out. Actually, to be honest with you, my wife would tell you that
Good.
she's part of that tribe. See, my wife would tell you the tribes that she's part of, and I'd be like, what? She would tell you what native tribes that she's part of. Blew me away because I didn't think that you when you're complacent to a certain place, you don't think no other Indian tribes existed other than here in the Americas. So yeah, this is
Right.
deep, man. We getting dude. God damn it, can't talk all day. We'll be on this shit all day, man. So it's interesting though. It's interesting when we hear and we see the dynamics of all the stuff that's going down. But we gonna wrap it up from here. We gonna wrap it up from here because I know we got other stuff we got to do. I got some family matters I got to tend to. Um, Again, I had a very important family member that passed away this morning, and I need to go pay my respects. Um, and do what I got to do with my family. I found out just before we went on air, so I just told Jerome I need to talk. I need to talk. It keeps me going when I'm talking or rebuilding because it takes my mind off of what we dealing with. This is therapy, and I do talk to Jerome when I get fluttered and frustrated. Talking to brothers that want to build is what we need, and that's something that we don't do is talk. We've been told to hold our shit in and constantly hold our shit in. And we destroy ourselves by holding shit in instead of sharing it. This macho shit ain't really it's not appealing because there's more and more we want to be strong. Yes, well, I'm strong. I'm strong regardless, dude. Fucking 6 foot 260. I lift weights. Ain't nobody gonna fuck with me. I'm strong. But mentally, are we strong? Because they wasn't strong and they took over our country. They played that strategy shit against us. And look at us now. So strength, we need to open our minds and we need to strengthen our minds. So we need to get around brother. I got my brother Marvin. Me and Marvin tight. We see Eric on here. We got brother Wathrow in here. We got people that's building. We got brother Crew Cut come in, brother Tut, who is part of our group. We chime in. We once you start building brothers that want to talk and want to get shit out, nothing can hold us back. We can only do is grow. So um, this is like I said, this is therapy for me, man. The more and more it makes me want to learn more, and hearing other people talk about stuff or give me your perspective because my perspective is my perspective. Brother Walther would get me on some shit that I started learning more. Marvin was on a movement, had me on a movement. Even you, Jerome, had me on a movement to learn more than what I knew. You couldn't say this shit about me 10 years ago. I'll probably be I won't be on right now. I'll be coming home. Guess from where? Where I'm not going back to. But that's a whole different story. But as we grow, as we learn this stuff, then you start understanding self love. Once you look in the mirror and you look at yourself and be like, yo, I know I'm better than this. I'm stronger than this. People fear your mind. When your mind opens, watch the hate come out at people because of now you don't want to be part of that system no more. You want to think on your own. You want to learn on your own. People hate that shit, man. The world hates it. That's why this country is falling apart right now because you got people starting to go this direction, that direction, starting to understand it. When you have this people saying we are from this country, this is our land, you got the people fighting back. Everybody looking for reparations because of slavery. Understand what the whole slavery movement was. It was in reverse. But, as we deal with life, we have to understand we got to keep pushing forward and then we got to teach our young ones what we know and not hold it in. So this is our way of getting what we know out. So you can't say, "Oh, you holding out information." No, damn, we talking about it. We talking about it for free. We doing this shit for free. We ain't asking for nobody to do this and do that for us. This is a Saturday night. This is a Sunday talk with me and Jerome. What we doing, and we'll be on the phone like this. So we just do it live so y'all can see what we do. This is how we talk all the time. You know what I'm saying? So this is this
Straight
is
up.
this is deep. So I mean, yeah, this is it's a form of therapy for me because Jerome is always in North Carolina, in South Carolina, in Philly. I don't get to see the dude often, but you gave me something to see. I can see his face. I can sit there and say, "Hey, I talk to my brother every week. Uh, I talk to somebody who
Right.
who 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 on
Right.
the same frequency we on the same week. You know what I'm saying? I hate it when we don't be a podcast. I hate it, but this is what we do, and we just happen to form it into a podcast. So If you ever around me and Jerome and we talking, this is what we do. So we're just sharing our thoughts. Again, Jerome to tell you in the beginning of the thing. This is our opinion. Go research it for yourself. The word research is go find out yourself and enlighten yourself on what you're doing. Don't follow a movement. Create your movement within yourself and then join like-minded people. So I digress. All right, Jerome, it's on you.
Nah, bro, hey, you said a lot. Um, it ain't much to follow with that, except I do want to send my condolences to you and your family. Um, man, learn more about who you are. For everybody that's on here, uh, if you don't look at us on YouTube, you can find us on YouTube, Three Headed Monster
Podcast.
podcast. And yeah, podcast. And just subscribe, share, notifications, like it. Um, more information on there. And as B said, it is therapy, for us to talk to one another because we all been through trauma. Um, so it takes a stronger person to say where you that you are hurt and that you need help than a person that just holds it. So it's important for us to get together as people and can talk through our problems and talk to get solutions, so we can go forward. I think one of the biggest things that we gave up uh, is community, that sense of community, that sense that you could go down the street and get help from your neighbor because they just like family. Um, it's a lot of things we're giving up, but that those are some of the things that pressing to me. You could
Family is
let your
another one.
kids play out in the street because the neighbors was watching. It's a lot of things we've given up. Um, but
Another
once
thing.
again,
We gave up the
what's
structure
up?
of
What's
family.
up?
We gave the structure of family away.
Of course,
The structure of a family of a man and woman taking care of your family, the black presence of a male being in the household, it broke away during the women's movement. We gave up family. We gave up
yeah,
being, raising your own kids. Now we got we they tell us how to raise our kids. They tell us what you can do
right,
with your kids and what you can't do with your kid. Oh, if your kids don't come to the indoctrination school, we come and arrest you because we need
right,
your kids. What does it mean is, but you're not teaching them nothing. But I need them there, so I know where your kids at all times. I need to know what your kids know and what they don't know, because a lot of times
right,
people don't understand is they asking them your kids what's going on in your household, and they want to make sure that is I'm not knocking women. I know our black women are strong, but they're not the protectors. They're not the protectors, and it's hard. It's hard raising a black male in this country right now. So I'm sorry, Jerome. My bad. I had to throw that in there.
now you good, you good, you good. Like I said, I ain't got much more to say than that. I appreciate everybody that rocks with us. Um, we're trying to grow it, so tell somebody else. Drop some comments. Let us know what you think. Um, other than that, peace and love.
It's a three-headed monster podcast, yo. Peace.
Yes, sir.